So not everyone's dream camera is their favorite camera, or vice versa. And for me, my favorite camera definitely isn't my dream camera by any means, mainly because I specialize in video or digital photography. However, all the way back in 2012, a tiny indie film came out called The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. And to this day, that is probably one of my, if not my all-time favorite Spider-Man film. And in that film, Peter Parker uses this camera, the Yashica Electro 35 GSN model specifically. And if you're into film photography or retro photography or anything like that, you've probably come across the Yashica Electro 35 GSN. I'm just going to call it the Electro. You've probably come across the camera, maybe not even for its function, but definitely for its looks. To me, this is probably one of the sexiest cameras I've ever seen. Yes, I just use sexy as a word to describe a camera, but it's got that vintage, metallic, retro feel. It's like if you had asked a child to draw a camera, this is the camera they probably would have drawn. It's like the classic camera. You've got the silver strip at the top, you've got the black main body, the silver lens, you name it, it's there. It's also got, which I don't have, the like box flash that you can put on it as well, which he does use in the film, but it quickly gets destroyed by the lizard, so we'll just go with mine got destroyed by the lizard for now. And the very kind people on eBay assured me that it was working, so I'm going to put some film in it, and we're going to do some test photos, and we're going to try out film photography this year, so that's super exciting. That was probably the main, other than it being like a physical prop from a movie, because I'm a giant nerd. By the way, got a cosplay and nerd channel called Matt is Spider-Man. Go and check it out, link in the description. Other than it being a film prop, it being working and usable is the main reason I bought it, because I didn't want it to just sit on a shelf and gather dust like my other film cameras do, because they don't work or they're not functionable. This one works, and I can actually take it out and use it. But a little bit of background info. So this version of the camera first came out in 1973 and was incredibly popular throughout the 70s. They made a lot of this camera. This version, so the GSN model, was one of the first cameras to feature electronic controls for aperture priority shooting, which is actually quite cool. So I've got a little bit of photography history here as well. The lens on it is a 45mm lens, which is quite a strange focal length, really, but it's a nice one. It's not quite 50. It's not 35, but it's a decent, you've got a good field of view with that. And not to mention, it's a mechanical camera. Like, sure, the current modern cameras have some mechanical elements to them, i.e. you push a button, but no, this one you physically have to turn the handle to wind the film through. You have to, when you load it in, you have to spin this to get the tension right, and this here will lock the shutter so you can't accidentally push the button. It all just feels very well built and very nice to use. Bear in mind, this camera is from the 70s, so it's a relic, pretty much. This is way older than I am, not to make anyone feel old or anything. It's just really nice to look at. I might just sit here and look at it for a while.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Now, I haven't actually used this camera yet, so I can't talk about my experience using it. However, my experience so far with a working one, I don't actually know if it works yet. I've got to go and take some photos of it, get the photos developed, have them back, and then we'll see if it is actually working. But that is going to have to be a separate video. But yeah, knowing this camera was my favorite character's personal camera in one of my favorite movies, it's just like, adds a really fun layer to it. And I think that's going to give me some enthusiasm to actually try and go out and use this camera. On a tangent, I don't know how he used this camera for his photos, unless this was like his school photo camera, but I really don't see how this would have been any good in the sewers. Well, actually, say that. He did have a flash on it, and it would depend on what film he was using, so yeah. Another reason I got this camera is mainly to learn something new. And whilst I know a lot about photography and a lot about the things that you have to do, i.e. composition, lighting, this, that, and the other, annoyingly, in college, I flunked photography. I didn't really get on my teacher. Sorry, Ian. And I've forgotten all of the film-based knowledge that I could have learned in that lesson. And ironically now, I'm going to have to learn it to use this camera. So, or at least relearn it and refresh myself on how to actually use film and film cameras and how to develop film and stuff like that. So it's going to be a really cool way for me to gain some previous knowledge that I had and maybe learn some new things that are going to help me along the way of actually doing film photography, because it's a completely different way of doing it. Like, everyone can take out their phone, take a picture and whatever else. Fine, I'm fully aware of that. But that takes away a lot of the fun of it. Whereas with this, I have to be super intentional. I have to know what I'm shooting. I need to get the focus right, because it's going to be a learning curve, and I'm actually really excited to do that. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop talking about it, and I'm going to put some film in the camera, or as I'm going to try. So in order to load this up with film, what we've got to do is we've got to pull this up, and then pops open. Simple. Look at the inside of that. Beautiful. This is a stunning example of this camera. Very happy that I found it. Found it on eBay, by the way. Very nice. And then, so I've got some Kodak 200 film, which I'm going to use first. I also have this Street Candy film as well, which is black and white film. However, I want to shoot in color first, so I'm using this Kodak Gold. So then I believe what I've got to do is place it in this way around, and then place it in that way around, and then click that down. There we go. And then pull this across. Feed that into there, I believe. So I think I've got to yeah. And then I believe I have to wind this as well. So yeah, I think that's it, and then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the shutter, and then I'm gonna do that again. Yes, so you see that move? Did you see that move? I hope you did. So now this is technically ready to shoot film. I just took a photo, which is crazy. And look, this is the mechanical bit of it. You just have to. Oh, it's so nice. That's so satisfying. I'm gonna lock the shutter so I don't ruin it. But thanks so much for watching this video. Join me on this journey, because I'm super excited about it. If you're into film photography or anything, I'd love to see what you've done and some of your photos and what camera you use. And if you've got any tips or anything for me, because I'm kind of at the beginning of my journey of this, please let me know. I'm aware I might need like a light meter and a couple of other bits to perhaps help me, but until that point, I'm just gonna sort of wing it and hope for the best, watch a bunch of YouTube videos and this, that, and the other. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one, where hopefully I'll go out and I'll take some photos, and I'll show you what I'm shooting. So when we get the photos back, we can kind of compare and see what we get. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Go and pick one of these up. Super cool.